Hi internet. I know, I'm not even bothering to change my videos, I'm just like, I want to wear the cape and the dress, so I'm wearing the cape and the dress. But anyway, this is going to be my book talk thing. I think I'm just going to keep that because I'm talking about books for Spellcaster and Steadfast. Well, I feel like someone else calls something book talk. I don't care. Anyway, book discussion, book talk, whatever. This is going to be my book talk thingy on Spellcaster and Steadfast by Claudia Gray. If you don't want to be spoiled, leave now. This is spoiler. I'm going to be ranting a lot. Okay, in Spellcaster, I did love Spellcaster. Like, I still have a sincere memory of love for that book. I think one of the things that amplified it for me is Nadia, how she takes care of her family. And I think I kind of related to that with having to take care of everyone and things like that. She was a great female protagonist. But still, in Steadfast, I kind of hated her. Which is weird to have such a juxtaposition of emotions for one character between two books. I haven't had that in a long time. And I think it could just be the whole second book letdown that always happens with second books. I don't know what it is about the second book in a trilogy, but it's just never as good as the first one or the last one. Spellcaster. The second that we met Elizabeth, I knew she was going to be the bad guy, or the enemy, or whatever, the person that they were going to be working against, because you got that vibe where she was too perfect and I loved it too much. Now thinking back on it, even like Gag or Gab or whatever his name is, in the second book, how he is made to be Elizabeth's servant, whatever, you can kind of see that will happen when you're reading the first book. Verona, in there, you know one of her parents is going to get hurt because of the only people who care about her, and that she's going to get with Jeremy, although it won't be Jeremy. I think that was left too open in Spellcaster, where there was somewhere where she said only if it was someone else in that body. And like, guess what? Next book, someone else in that body. The main problem that I had with Steadfast was that it just followed along the lines of everything that I thought would happen from Spellcaster. Only thing that was different was I kind of expected her mum, in the naive way, for her mum to turn up in Steadfast and be like, hey, I'm gonna teach you, I'm gonna defeat Elizabeth together. Then to find out in Steadfast that she's lost her ability to love. That I was like, oh, okay. But you also got that feeling that something like that would happen beforehand when she was going to go see her mum. So there's so many conflicting emotions with it. I just keep playing with my hair. As soon as they introduce a character, you know something bad's gonna happen to them, which got on my nerves. Because I like it when they introduce characters, and sometimes you introduce a character when nothing bad is going to happen. They're just going to be a background character. But no, every character that has been introduced in this fucking book, something bad has happened to them, or it turns out they're a witch, or that they're Steadfast. I think that's one of the things that got on my nerves about. It annoyed me, if you can't tell. It's so odd because I remember reading Spellcaster and the occasional teenage girl things would annoy me, but I could get over it. Like, I was like, oh yay, Maddie and Nadia, because like they've both been through such bad stuff, and I think it just seemed more sophisticated in the first. That was my problem. And I did love how in the first book Elizabeth tricks him into thinking that she's Nadia, and Nadia finds out that like he's been kissing her and stuff on her, and her initial reaction isn't, he has betrayed me, oh no, how will I go on with my life? It's, bitch, get away from my man. Which I just had images of Tyler Oakley saying. So many problems with this book. Steadfast has ruined me for this trilogy. Like, I don't even want to check out the Evernight series now, although I will have to look up reviews, see if there is anyone who had the same problem with it before I end up picking it out one day, who knows. Grates on my nerves. I wanted there to be more horrible jokes. I also felt like in the first book there were occasional times where I'd be like, okay, she has really taken on her mother's role in the family. That relationship between her father and her has become a bit more sophisticated, like two people who are really close, or siblings or something, taking care of someone. In this book, I felt too many times that her father and her were portrayed more as a couple than as father and daughter, or like just two close family members trying to take care of her brother. There's just a couple of scenes where I was sitting there and like cringe, because I was like, that's written how her and Mattia are written. It's not, there's just so many relationships that even though they were kind of defined, they were just like all the other relationships in the book. Even the voices, I couldn't distinguish between the voices in Steadfast. In Spellcaster I could. Like, if I started reading Mario, I know I was reading Mario. There were a couple of times it would be a bit sloppy, but overall it was pretty good. Whereas Steadfast, I don't know. I feel like it was just like whooped out of the air. Like, she was contracted for Spellcaster, finished Spellcaster, sent off the script, sent off the book, and then they're like, you know what, 3 books. I don't even know if it's going to be a trilogy, but I'm assuming. And then Steadfast was written really fast and not perfected the way Spellcaster was, and in too much of a teenage girl mood and too relationship heavy, and I didn't like how much of Mario and Nadia was in. I'm not even against romances at the moment. If anything, I'm totally for romance right now. I'm like, yay, teen romance, girlfriends, boyfriends, and everything in between. But in this book, it just got on my nerves an extraordinarily amount. Like, I was talking to one of the guys at school, yeah, I was talking to one of the guys at work, and I even said to him, I feel like this book is going to make me hate it just from reading the first chapter. I was like, I think it's going to be too much teenage girly, and I had to listen to the audiobook to finish it, and I wanted it to end. That's saying everything about the book. I just don't even know. I do like the plot twist where her mother gave up her love to protect her. I just feel like that wasn't developed on correctly. There's something about that just felt off. And the way that she agreed to be with there was something about the agreeing with Elizabeth, and that Matthew was completely fine with it afterwards, and that everyone was like, oh no, she's still our person, apart from the other Steadfast. That I was like, no, Mrs. Walsh. That was like, that made me hate the end of it. Like, the only part of the end that I liked. Verona was the only one in this book that I liked, along with Asa. They were my favourite people in the book. They were the reason I kept reading the book, because I wanted to know what would happen with them, because I felt for his plight of being that was the story that was developed. The rest of it was just fucking filler. That's how I feel. It's like when I was watching Bleach, and you get all the good episodes, and then there'd be a fucking season of filler, and you're like, what is this filler? What it felt like. Like, Verona and Asa, oh, any moment with them, or especially from Asa's point of view, when you got to see into his all demon head. I liked it. I was like drawn to it, like, give me more. With Verona, even when the whole way where she's just like, well, they don't love me, but they're trying, it's sweet. And then when she was told, no, there are times when they would catch clippings of it and they loved her, she was like, what? Like, it's possible to love me? Which made Elizabeth taking away her fucking love terrible. And why did she never turn around to Nadia and be like, turns out the reason everyone loves Elizabeth is because they're meant to love me, but she's stealing it. Also, I think if I was Nadia, even though, yeah, it would suck that no one actually saw you and the only people who truly cared about you were your dads and a fucking demon, I would be more grateful that I've gone through my life not being noticed but still striving for great things than if I was just loved, like the way Elizabeth is loved. I think that I would hate that. I don't even think, I know I would hate that. All my relationships are complicated, and most of them involve yelling abuse at each other. Not in an abusive manner, but in a, you fucked up friend, and you fucked up friend, and I fucked up friend, and just that general manner. So the idea that Elizabeth's perfect aura that makes everyone fall in love with her being Verona's, part of me is like, yeah, because she's like a fucking lovable character, and at the same time I'm like, no, I don't want her to be that lovable. I don't want her to get it back and then everyone to fall head over heels just looking at her and thinking she's like the best kid, because that's how it's kind of portraying between Elizabeth and her, and I just don't want that to happen to her. Because she, like, if the curtain is released and everyone can finally see her and then like, oh my god, Verona, I love you, you're like the best, and then everyone's just gonna be like nice to her, and then she's not gonna know what to do and have a mental breakdown and have children with the demon. I feel like there's gonna be some way that fucking Nadia finds out about Verlanian, what her face is, and Asa, and they're mad all sweet on each other, and she's gonna find out a way to release Asa from the one beneath and it's gonna like kill her, or fucking what's his face, Mario's gonna remove her powers. The fact that he was all, no, I would never take her magic abilities away from her. I'd be like, bitch, yeah, I would take her powers away from her if it was saved by that. He should. He's been pretty much saying that the entire... There's certain things in this book that I hated, if you can't tell. But yeah, what did you guys think about the book? Are you as emotionally annoyed as I am, or did you have a different take on it? Because there's so many things. It's probably good in a way that it's rolled me up this much, but in the other way, I'm like, burn it with fire. Not as much as like, I don't dislike it as much as Twilight and Fallen. It has prized place on my shelf still, but it can be moved. It will never come near these shelves. Never come near these. And if John Graham releases any more books, get kicked off that shelf. Hope you guys are having a lovely week, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Yeah, so this is going to be my book talk discussion on Spellcaster and Claudia Gray. It is Spellcaster and Claudia Gray.